out between these two teams.
We are heading over to Tuscany, but this is going to be anything but a holiday for Team Liquid and TSM. They are coming in to what will be one of the biggest games of the tournament and could be one of the biggest games of some of these players' careers as they look to push forward and take those big titles. Remember, coming in here, we've got 15 teams. There can only be one winner every time we have these international lands. So the few players who count themselves amongst those winners, they really are the rarity, and those opportunities don't come by every 2 minutes. So a good start is going to be super important. We're heading in and we've got our operator bands coming in. Thatcher, Nomad, no real surprises so far.
No, absolutely looking towards the rotate cuts there coming out of Liquid. Just screaming to me they want to play this one a bit more aggressively, make TSM uncomfortable. You're thinking about the role that seems to be quite unique to NA in the flank watch role. We don't really talk about that much in APAC or in EU, to be completely honest, but for me that just screams that we want to shut that player down and let the players of Liquid run amok. Valkyrie and Nomad to follow through, same as we saw in the Na'Vi SSG game on Cafe earlier on, so nothing too surprising there. Bans overall, I'd wager pretty normal outside of arguably the Nomad, and even then, not that surprising.
No, we're going to have Liquid starting things on the attack then. So I think the age-old discussions of Villagers just straight up being defender-sided are probably gone now. We've seen that even out a little bit, but you wouldn't expect to lose the half on the defence is what I would say. I think, you know, a 3-all is sort of a minimum here. If you can take a 4-2, fantastic. So Liquid, they're going to be looking to come in and really unsettle TSM here. They really want to get disruptive. First round or two, particularly important. We're getting our first Flores pick here on the Bravo stream as well, Des.
We are indeed. That's always an exciting one. I've loved seeing Flores' use case in the EU games, mainly because when you're attacking into a site like Aviator game that relies on, you know, potentially mute jammers, when you're looking towards ADSs, when you've got shields being set up, in this case 2 bulletproof cameras as well, Flores just removes all the risk of exposing yourself as a player. Say a Zofia, for example, stepping around a corner and dropping an impact into a room, or frag grenades being tossed in. The Flores just makes it completely safe to do here. So keep a very close eye on PSK and what he does in the first, say, 1 minute and 45 seconds of the round, because he could have a massive impact.
Certainly could. Now then, we've got TSM holding over in the trophy statuary side of things as well. They're going to just extend their hold here out to the north side of the map. Quite a common attacking approach will be to get established over on that north side and then sweep down to the south side of the map, taking a few kills as you go and trying to get a plant in behind that vault door or somewhere around the maps table that we can see just inside of sight. So Nesk has got his drone inside of Astro. He's going to be straight into a battle with Beaulo and Geo if he does look to push in from that side. We've also got Achieved playing down underneath on the mute. He will almost certainly, I'll just double check, have a nitro in hand. Yes, he does. So Liquid, they need to be very careful here. A north side push isn't going to be all that straightforward.
Interesting how you got Pojo playing on the Jaeger, but he's not really playing the hard roaming role. Instead, it's 3 other members of the team. Paluh pushing in for a spot that we so commonly used to seeing Joystick do, and no doubt you'll see him in the next game. Of course, Empire versus Liquid coming up straight after this one, but he's on the downstairs trying to do a little bit of roam clear on that Jackal. You can see drones singing around in front of him as well. It's a good start coming out of Liquid, not trying to rush in and go too aggressive on here, but just slowly trying to force the members of TSM back. Beaulo now going to be the next one to step away. A couple of shots ringing in towards him. Will be able to make it away safely. About a minute or so wasted by TSM, but quite effective in a pushback coming in from Liquid.
Oh, that's good from Liquid so far. 1 minute in and TSM have been pretty much completely forced back onto site. So the north side of the map is now Liquid's to control. Beaulo's going to get himself up onto the 90 elbow though. Could be an interesting position there just to look at making a challenge onto those doorways that the push will come from. He just dips away as the Gemini clone comes in, will take it out, but needed to, as Sexy Cake was on the upside down rappel of that 90 window as well. Just starts to take a few pot shots down the corridor. 1 minute 30, and we still haven't had a head-to-head challenge just yet.
Absolutely not, at least not to start things out here. Again, it's just a clear work going on. So they've got the top side of the map. They moved themselves down to the ground floor, swept underneath. Now Muringa's the one playing on these vertical angles. Does he know about the man? I believe it's Beaulo who's lurking here just at the south side. Just be careful, he doesn't step himself into a bit of a dangerous line. Here comes the Rotero there, and Beaulo racing to meet him, wanting to protect both of those ADSs. Looks like he'll fail in that endeavor. That's, again, why these can be so deadly turn your attention towards the drone, you get yourself shot from somewhere else. If you ignore them for even a split second, they'll destroy so much crucial utility for the defenders.
Pressure mounting on Pojoman on the main stairs there, just being drawn out, and there is some attention from Paluh and Sexy Cake towards Study. Muringa manages to find Chala through that vertical angle that we were talking about, but Pojo trades one out for himself with a kill on to Muringa, leaving us 4 versus 4, but here comes the push from Team Liquid as they move on into sight. Sexy Cake manages to find one, has the diffuser in hand, will start to try and get this plant down. Out comes the Toxic Babe and the Nitro, so just baiting out that utility, but Achieved manages to find a kill as he moves his way back in. However, Paluh, Nesk, the dynamic duo, they find 2 towards the end of the round. 10 seconds left to go. It's all down to Achieved. Nesk, he steps out, starts to get the diffuser down. Big kill from Achieved onto Paluh, but PSK moves in from the game room side and finds the final kill for Team Liquid in what was a bit of a back and forth round, but Team Liquid did always feel in control of that one.
They played it really well, considering the size of the map as well. Starting off on the top as mentioned, forcing TSM back inside about 60 seconds. Muringa downstairs inside a library, opening up the floor just to make TSM sweat a little bit. Rotero's flying down 90, a plant attempt inside of Aviator. Liquid were just everywhere, and the coordination there was phenomenal. A plant going down, one playing inside a Study, and as soon as the man on Study doorway dies off, they don't say, okay, let's try and stick the plant here. No, Ness comes off the plant and immediately goes to rush himself in towards Vault. Someone else joins in from inside a game. Just really good coordination coming out of Liquid, where it feels like no one is truly isolated, but they played as a team in that first round. Very well played. TSM going to have to find something extra up their sleeve here if they're going to be able to threaten the side of Liquid, I think.
So, interesting choice here in round 2 then. So we're going to be heading down to Kitchen and Dining, moving away from Aviator games. TSM just wanting to mix things up a little bit, maybe catch Liquid slightly on the back foot, but Sexy Cake does have the sledge. Muringa, the thing is, you're never really going to catch Liquid out with this play because Muringa pretty much consistently always plays bulk, so they're always going to have that soft destruction even if they don't bring the sledge along particularly. So Team Liquid, they're going to look to get themselves top floor control, I would imagine, especially with the volume of vertical destruction that they've got available to them with the sledge and the book. Geo, Pojoman upstairs on the Vigil and the Mozzie, they are going to be very important pieces of this puzzle to defending Dining and Kitchen. We saw Muringa getting the vertical kill last time around. Liquid very capable of using and exploiting those vertical angles into sight. They're going to want to get hold of Master and Bathroom particularly, because that's where a lot of the important angles come from. But if they move in from the south side, they're going to meet immediate resistance from TSM.
This is it. I mean, look at the lineup coming out of TSM as well, right? The Mute, Mozzie, and the Vigil. It's kind of the... It's not quite the full 4 horsemen of death, but it's definitely the 3. Death of drones is the one way you might look at it. Very little information able to be gathered by Liquid likely means that they'll be a bit starved in confidence. You know, you rely on information to say, right, cool, we can charge forward here, we can push up there, we can challenge this guy there. Without that information, it's more intuition and a little bit of guesswork, to be honest. So I think it would be quite right that Liquid will take this one a little bit slower than previous. You see Muringa with the drone coming up red stairs as well. They just want to make sure this south side is clear before they get a little bit too comfortable.
Gemini drone just going in ahead, as you say, just making doubly sure of exactly what they're pushing into. Liquid sometimes can fall foul of the clock. They need to be careful that they don't take too long and let these roamers waste too much time. That's not the case yet. It's just something for us to keep our eye on. They need to be moving the Vigil and the Mozzie along sooner rather than later, so they can start working those vertical angles, because at the same time as working those vertical angles, there's other things that need to happen. They need to have some horizontal angles into sight to take advantage of any of the defenders that are pushed and moved around. That's one of the real key factors of getting that vertical, is to be able to force the defenders out of their comfort zones, out of those spots that they've chosen, and pick them up with kills as they do. But right now, 1 minute left to go, Des, and Liquid have stalled out a little bit here.
They are a little bit here as well. Good grenade coming in, but now comes the wide swing on the angle. Geo wins that one against Sexy Cake. That's the opening kill at about 60 seconds remaining as well. 2 minutes apiece. It's become one of violence. Nesk bringing one back on the other side. In comes the swing. Nesk a little bit too good for that one. Makes it a double. Is this going to be one of those Nesk rounds, Ace? The ones that are in legend at this point. If he can walk through this one, my God, it would be a great start.
Achieved on Astro stairs, just trying to hold off the push that is coming in from Liquid here. You can hear the skeleton key of Muringa just trying to open up up the door to sight using those vertical angles. In comes the flashback, forces Achieved back down the stairs. He decides to throw a nitro as he goes, and he hits him with the fadeaway. Chala gets one onto Nesk. It's 2 versus 3. TSM know where they're coming from. 20 seconds left to go. Surely it's their round, but Paluh steps up with a kill from the Jackal. 2 versus 2. It's going to have to be kills as Diffuser is not in hand. Paluh tries to push forward, finds one. Can he find the second? It's all down to Beaulo on the pulse. He's got the pistol. He finds the shot and takes down Paluh, and that's going to be the round for TSM, locking down the ground floor and bringing things back to 1-1.
A close round, mind you, as well, descending into that 1 versus 1 in the late stage. But TSM, Beaulo in particular, being the one who pulled themselves ahead. And we clocked about how it was a much slower round. That entry kill not coming on the top floor until the final, 60 seconds or so? It was a slow round, absolutely. But once that happened, that's when things really turned up to 11. You saw the aggression coming out of the members of Liquid. Things really started to heat up. Ultimately for TSM, they managed to persevere and hold on. One apiece, much the same way as the Na'Vi and SSG game started earlier on Cafe.
Very much so. I think, honestly, every game that we're going to see today is going to be close. You're just on that first day where everybody is desperate for wins, everybody's desperate for results and for points, and it's all about not wasting any time. So they just come in and they just don't leave anything on the field. Everything is put down, everything is left out there. They just really do give it everything they can, and it's no one. Teams that are already qualified, they're already in there. It's going to be those second places that are getting fought for, and there's going to be a lot of decisions to be made on day 3.
Absolutely. Right then, back into the site where it all started in round number 1. Liquid walking away at pretty decisive winners after a good execute inside of Aviator. You'll probably remember that 2 versus 1 onto the sole player that was left alone inside the vault at the bitter end of it. Let's see if TSM can be a little more disruptive, because they did try and have 2 or 3 members roaming up towards the north side, but were slowly scared back by Paluh. The drone work coming out of Liquid, it was quite oppressive, to be honest. So for TSM, I want to see him stick it a bit longer, be a bit more disruptive, maybe try and find a cheeky C4 kill here and there. That'll be a way to slow Liquid down and give yourself the early advantage.
Coming into the action phase then, we will see just how well TSM can manage this site second time around. They were sort of pushed from pillar to post last time. They tried to hold on to the north side, forced out of there within the first minute by Team Liquid, and then every angle was covered off, and ultimately it just came down to a rush into the vault, and who could find the last man first. Achieved trying everything he could to find those final kills, but shut down. Now Ness looking to get aggressive again. He's just pushing between closet and bathroom, not giving any clear indication of exactly where he might hop into. Beaulo held down this position last time around, but was unable to find anything from here. He was forced away. We can see the drones are coming in. They know exactly where you are, Beaulo, but this time he's going to hold down his position just that little bit longer and seeing if he can win this opening challenge. Takes a little tickle at Nesk, won't find any damage, and dips away, as does Geo. That's even quicker than last time, Des.
It is by about 10 seconds or so, yep. So again, from Liquid, that pressure, you know, drones, stray gunshots coming out, players pushing you around corners. It's enough to make you nervous that you're going to lose your life at any given moment's notice. So to back away there, the good choice by Beaulo, I think. TSM are doing what they can, and again, this Jackal just gets to work. Again, another member of TSM is forced back to site. It's just really well controlled by Liquid so far, just not giving TSM any room to do anything too crazy or exotic or upset someone. That being said, Beaulo has found the opening kill at the top of 90 here onto Nesk.
Certainly find a little bit of room from somewhere. We saw Beaulo doing that last time, dipped away and then pushed up onto that 90 elbow, and this time finding some success. And what success it is, taking Nesk off the board. That's always going to be a big moment when you're playing against Team Liquid. We've just got Muringa there looking to push towards main stairs. They'll be aware that Pojoman's playing there. He was there last time around, and Paluh takes the scan. That's not really going to do too much for Team Liquid. It's Achieved on the mute that they pick up, but he's back in sight by quite a long time now. Paluh looking to see if he can get a peek here. He's not sure about taking that default cam. There's no light to show that it's active at this point in time. I think he was just cautious about taking his eye off the shield of Pojoman in case he was challenged. Muringa once again using that verticality, Des. It was Chala last time. It's Geo this time. Taken down and leveled up. 4 versus 4, but 40 seconds left to go. Team Liquid need to be very aware of the clock here.
It's all about this main stairs shield that they just don't feel they can unsettle. And of course, there are ADSs stacked around it as well. But this has now pushed 2 members of Liquid back where they can't do this. So much so, the Paluh was rotated off instead to go and play around Study. Goes for a smoke, gets eaten up by the ADS. Can try yet another one. This one doesn't get eaten out as Achieved. Bringing down Sexy Cake. That smoke should now block some vision and give him an angle through. But he isn't feeling particularly keen here. 10 seconds remain. Pojo finds yet another. They're going for the step. It's all falling apart this time round. Liquid unable to stop TSM, who has shut them down, passed them from pillar to post. TSM taking round number 3.
Much better from TSM this time around. They were able to hold on to those main stairs as much as they did get forced out of the north half of the map. They kept the Study locked down and they just managed to really make life difficult for Liquid this time, whereas last time Liquid were able to move them off the stairs, move them out of 90, just able to completely surround them inside of sight, but absolutely not this time. And I like to see that from TSM, locking down what should be a defensive site.
Navly Jabbly, good stuff for TSM, showing they can adapt and deal with the ever-changing threat coming out of Liquid. Another very quick timeout here for you. A quick USB change/fix, I'm being told, should only take a couple of seconds. And I think for Achieved, that was the big round. I can't remember if it worked out to be a 3K for him there, but he got a lot towards the back end of that round, picking off those members of Liquid as they tried to move in for the execute. It just looked comfortable for TSM, not really ever threatened by the side of Liquid, who looks a little bit baffled by that shield. By the way, Sexy Cake is tilting me. He's the only player on the whole lineup who has got a lowercase L in Liquid. I don't know why, but he's that guy.
Don't worry about it, Des. Don't let it get to you. Don't let it get to you.
It's too late, mate.
Maybe he's trying to tilt TSM. Maybe he's hoping somebody on TSM will feel the same way.
He's hoping they're a stickler for correct spelling of a team name. Yeah, God forbid. Small details, Ace, because the round is back underway, and that's a much bigger detail for us to focus on. Round number 4, finding ourselves heading up to Trophy and Statuary. So a change away. Of course, not able to play in Dining Room. It's where their second choice site was that we played in round 2. TSM walked away the winner, thanks to a Beaulo 1 versus 1 against Paluh. Let's see how Trophy and Statuary goes and see if there's a reason why it is their third choice site.
Teams, of course, having to play away for 2 rounds from a site that they win. We're always very aware at the majors that, you know, we get a lot of new viewers around these big international tournaments, and we want to make sure that you're looked after as well. Everybody's welcome here, of course, and if you're wondering what's going on with the sites, we basically play on what we call a 2-round site rotation. So once a team wins a site, so for example, TSM have just won Aviator and Games site, they have to play 2 rounds on other sites away from that one. Win or lose, doesn't matter, they just have to play 2 rounds away from it, and then they're allowed to go back and do that one again. So if you lose a site, you're able to go straight back there. You're only impacted by that if you get the win on that site. So this time, round 4, we're going to see TSM go into Trophy and Statuary. And as Des said here on Villa, we've got 2 primary sites, generally speaking. It'll be Aviator Games that we've just seen, and it'll be Trophy Statuary, which are the 2 top floor sites. And then usually teams will use one of the lower floor sites as their third choice, which in this case for TSM was Dining and Kitchen, and they managed to get the win there, so that's big for them. They're going to look to lock down Trophy Statuary here now. It guarantees them an even split on the half, and they can push forward and try and get themselves a real advantage from what could end up being one of those textbook slow starts from Liquid.
At this point as well, Achieved playing this super well. You're probably wondering, well, he's taking gunshots and backing away but not trying to challenge players. Why not? His whole aim here is just to remove drones from the side of Liquid, slow them down, make them have to re-drone again and again and again. And sure enough, he's wasted about 40 seconds here because he's killed 2 drones. They're going to have to bring more players onto the south side to get drones going down. They still don't know where he is. That's his 3rd drone kill of the round. Just, again, slowly taking away the confidence from the side of Liquid and almost potentially picking up muringa at the same time before he darts away into the place that shall not be named, the basement where barely any players ever play.
As you said, just using that space very, very smartly to get himself away from that fight. Just takes his chip damage on muringa. He's happy with that. About 48 HP goes by the by, and he slips away and gets himself underneath Kitchen in the basement. But the problem is, even if he's not directly challenging Liquid at this point in time, he's a problem, Des, because he's in the back of the mind. Where's the Mozzie gone? Has he come back up the stairs? We need to try and spot him on a drone. We need to know we've got him. And the longer that time goes on where they don't see him on a drone, the more they know he is still out there in the map and that he's going to be a problem. Achieved coming back towards red stairs here. Just keep an eye on that because this could be a massive flank in the late round.
Not even a flank, mate. Think about what he's got in his backhand as well. It's a C4 on side. Comes it out with it, but no one's going to get caught out in the explosion. I thought he might hold on to that one until there was a plant that came through inside of Statuary, but it's not to be the case. Paluh also taking a truckload of damage, down to about 15 HP. Muringa's at half HP from his earlier fight against Achieved. Really good initial disruptive play coming out of TSM, which is what I said I wanted to see out of them. He's get up in the grill of each other here, cause some trouble, especially Liquid doing that to TSM when we switch half after 6 rounds. But for now, it's Paluh looking to cover on the south side. Pojo not quite respecting that one. It's going to be a free kill. Beaulo bringing one back before Sexy Cake strikes big on site itself. It's back and forth, but the double kill for Beaulo, making a triple, has held the site down. Liquid slowed down too much by TSM, and Beaulo strikes big.
Really does at the perfect moment. What an impact play from him. Paluh pushing in. He's the last one alive. Finds one. Gets himself into a 1v1 after an unfortunate team kill. But Geo, he makes up for that. The Nitro doesn't matter as he finds that final kill. And that puts TSM 3-1 up. And as I said, don't you put too much stock in those roster change talks.
I mean, at this point, yep, 3-1 up for TSM. Doing well. And the roam play from Achieved, I'll touch on it again, was fantastic. So much time being wasted on the south side, killing off 3 or 4 drones, getting chip damage down, had the ability to play a massive upset and spoil a player on the bottom with that C4. Didn't connect onto anyone, but still made himself known in that round before. It was Beaulo, the one that will be remembered, who walks away with the 3K. 3 rounds in a row for TSM, and now they get to go for a full site rotate once again if they so choose. That's exactly what they'll do. We're going to start once more in Dining.
Things are starting to slip away from Liquid quite quickly here. They need to put the brakes on, and they need to get themselves around, because they're staring down the barrel of a potential 5-1 half here with TSM on the defense, and Beaulo is going particularly well at the minute alongside Achieved. Those two really dragging TSM up to the level that we are seeing here. They are going very, very well. Beaulo doing particularly great work inside a site at the minute. There's just able to really lock it down and make it difficult for Liquid to think about approaching. And the problem that you get there is that Liquid spend a minute and a half of the round trying to clear out roamers like Achieved, trying to close him down, trying to find the kill. And then, mentally, they've still got to deal with Beaulo in sight. It's a problem.
Well, consider about how the rounds have played out differently so far, right? Aviator and Games, the 2 times we've seen it, it was Beaulo being the one that was roaming up towards the north side. On the rounds they played down towards the south side, or sorry, played towards the north side, that's when you've seen Achieved being the one roaming down towards the south. So a good rotation of player roles here, all taking on something different. Pojo dropping away from playing on the Jaeger and now is playing on the Mozzie, for example. Good rotation across these sites of different roles being picked up here, all with different intents. This is the same thing that we saw in round 2, though, where it was the heavy anti-utility or anti-information style comp with the Mute, the Mozzie, and the Vigil all coming along together.
Geo getting picked up on a number of drones there, but he'll then be able to just use his scanner to take himself off the grid once again. That Vigil gadget just making him invisible for a short period of time to any drones. He's not obviously invisible to other players, but to drones at least. So he'll use that, just try and get himself off the grid. He'll try and sneak away into the map once again, just to give himself the opportunity again to waste time and keep himself unpredictable. Paluh is looking to move in underneath while Nesk works directly up above him. You see drones are just flying ahead of Nest there, just trying to get him as much information as possible. He's going to be using the Gemini clones as well, just to again try and locate any of those TSM roamers. But once again, half of the round wasted by this TSM defense, and they are doing a great job of that. They're showing us a real masterclass here in how to burn the clock down.
It's almost like you're just always dancing around the edge of the danger zone here, it feels, as well, because there's a Jackal on side, there's a Iana. There's so much that really should be able to threaten these roamers, but as it stands, they're not really able to do that. Another big C4 coming out from below onto the same spot as the prior round, but not enough to get anything finished off here as another track comes through. The question is, does he really want to try and look for a push here as well? Because if you try and do so, oh my god, a nice spray coming through. Oh, has he narrowly missed him as well? That could be a kicker. If he manages to get himself caught out here for Paluh, that could be a real stinger.
Does just briefly see the man move across the barricade there. Won't be able to get the kill, but does find Achieved. It is ultimately, Achieved, who he saw through the barricade, who tried to rotate onto him, but Paluh was just alive and alert and ready for the danger there. Sits him down in the living room and takes him out of the round. Muringa finds Pojoman with a headshot. 5 versus 3 now, as Liquid find the advantage that they've been so desperate for in the last couple of rounds. Paluh takes Chala out as well. Nesk onto Geo, and it's starting to look easy for Liquid as it's a flawless round, and they bring themselves back to within touching distance, and they want that even split at the half.
I mean, a very different round to prior ones, right? Where again, we saw the 3 rounds in a row going the way of TSM and thought, surely they can't run away with it. Questions have been answered there, where Liquid have bounced back in style. Big question mark, I think, over Geo there, who saw the man for a solid second before he even thought about, maybe I should shoot back. By the time then he was already dead. Bit of a messy round from TSM, did snowball away from them pretty fast, but well played by Liquid to get it over the finish line. Aviator game is going to be where this half ends. TSM starting their final defense down on the south side of the top floor.
It's going to be an important defense here from TSM, because you just feel if they come in at an even score line coming into their attacking half, that could be where things get a little bit more difficult for them. But for the time being, they are doing pretty well so far, so good. As you say, heading back to AVG, it's 50-50 so far on this site. 1 win, 1 loss. They will be looking to just extend that, as I say, trying to get this one locked down, trying to get it to that 66% win rate for AVG before moving on to the second half of the game. Now, Liquid, they need to find those roamers. We saw them manage it last time, take down Achieved as the opening kill, double down, get themselves to 5 versus 3, and it feels like that's where TSM start to have the difficulties. If they allow them to burn too much time and allow them to start picking up some kills, it can be a real difficulty then for Liquid to try and push on and get the round. So early first 30 seconds to a minute here, very important for Team Liquid.
Absolutely. Okay, then let's see how this one works out. Again, we've always seen these two members, Geo and Beaulo, being on the roam. Geo the one that backs away first after a bit of early contest, and then Beaulo is the one who steps away about that 45 to 60 second mark. Hasn't yet really ever achieved anything there. Not really much intel taken out, for example. Achieved actually going to be the first one that goes down here on the mute. Not really a pick you expect to see going away so early on, but down to 5 versus 4 for Liquid this early in the round. That's definitely not a bad start.
We've got a bit of a problem now, Des, and that is Paluh. He's got 3 entry kills in the last 3 rounds. He's up to 9 overall, and he's really starting to find his feet. And this is what we've said. If either him or Ness can do that, and they start to build that momentum and confidence, then the game can start to quickly run away from your Beaulo. This is a kill that he needs to find. He sees the man, but he can't hit the shots. Loses a lot of HP and has to dip away from that fight. This is going to open things up for Team Liquid now, as Geo will fall away without that support as well. Beaulo cannot aggress into 90 corridor as he did previously, getting himself a kill onto Nesk last time we saw them defend this site. So this is now going to have to be a different defense from TSM. They can't rinse and repeat anymore. They're going to have to start finding kills elsewhere.
I mean, this is the kind of round where you look at it, I think, for the side of Liquid and say, hey, with that opening kill, you've got that numbers advantage, you've got the pressure advantage. Kicking themselves if they can't bring this up to that 3-3 scoreline that you mentioned. Beaulo, this is where he found the entry kill just a few rounds ago. Actually, I believe it was onto Nesk as he came pushing down this 90 corridor and got himself tagged by Beaulo. So keep a close eye on whether or not there will be a repeat up there. With him not currently on 20 HP, though. Maybe not something you're looking for. Almost loses his life there. The wall bang, enough damage reduction to keep him alive. But Beaulo down to now about 5 HP. One more bullet and he is done for.
Pojo going to be holding down those main stairs. Muringa just doesn't really worry about him too much. He gets himself into library. We saw in that first round he seemed a little bit cautious of the main stairs, but he just doesn't worry about it any longer. Beaulo going to lose even more life there as the Vulcan shield is destroyed as well. So that forces him deep back into sight with Chala now. We've got Geo inside of the vault. Nesk is pushing the map's door and Liquid need to get something moving here. 30 seconds left to go and things just feeling like they're stalling out a little bit, but it is time now for Liquid to put their foot on the gas and to really accelerate them through the rest of the round, and that's going to be the start. Sexy Cake onto Beaulo. Geo goes down as well, but Pojoman comes up big with a kill onto Sexy Cake for the trade. 4 versus 3, but it's effectively 4 versus 2 with the man down but not out. Pojo's going big here, finds himself a second. Can he make it 3? He's facing up against Paluh. No, shut down as the double comes in. Paluh it was, down Geo, and finding that final kill locks it down 3-3 on the half, and Team Liquid, they're fighting back, Des.
I thought for a second there was no way they'd be able to swing that one back. The smoke cannons is blocking off the Aviator entrance from Nesk. Pojo, 2 huge kills coming up there from the main stairs as well. One lower down, one when he popped his head up above the parapet and found himself a kill. But ultimately couldn't do enough to stop Paluh at the very end there to give themselves something to go on. Paluh, 11 and 4 in that half. Almost 2 kills per round. The man has been absolutely nuclear. And we mentioned Nesk and Paluh as a pairing, as individual gunners, also equally terrifying.
Going to be heading into Liquid's first defensive round then. Now then, Question is, who's going to be out on the roam? I'm very interested in the roam game from Team Liquid here. We've got Paluh hitting 11 kills so far, finding his stride, really starting to cause a nuisance of himself. He's on the mute, but he's got the shotgun. Obviously, there's the potential for the SMG secondary. Nitro in hand, he's likely to possibly play downstairs, but we'll probably see a similar role to that of Achieved, who, when he was on the mute, played downstairs, but didn't really aggress too much. As soon as he was challenged, he moved himself back up and wanted to keep himself alive on site. Now, Nesk on the Wamai could be a different matter. He's going to be playing over to the north side. They've got the reinforcements and the shield there, really looking to hold down the trophy statuary area. As you can see, the difference with TSM's defense is Beaulo was leaving part of the triple wall open and trying to take an aggressive angle in towards Closet. It saw him pushed out of there quite frequently. This time, Liquid, they're not going to do that. They're not going to play that quite as aggressively. It looks like they're playing it more to keep themselves in that position for as long as possible.
Big interesting change coming in for TSM's lineup here compared to, say, that one of Liquid is there's a hard breacher on side. If you recall, for the side of Liquid, basically all of their attacks were Buck, Flores, Sledge, Iana, and Jackal. No hard breach in sight, which is quite a scary concept when you think about that coming into a map like Villa. It did mean a number of walls stayed closed, but that didn't really seem to phase them for the most part, except for the final round, but they brought along the ace instead. So already a small stylistic difference being shown between the two teams here. And of course, you can't ignore that big yellow icon in the middle right of your screen. Chala bringing along the Lions, something that we also saw Na'Vi doing in the previous game.
That's a big play from Beaulo to start us off there. We can't ignore that Rotero drone going in, clearing out a deployable shield, and there was actually a Vulcan shield and 2 ADSs from main stairs. We saw Pojo hold on to that position for just absolutely bucketfuls of time last time around, but that's not going to be the case for Team Liquid here. Muringa's going to have to take very difficult challenges here. The gunfights are going to come to him. He's going to need to hold this down. Bolo's going to send up another Rotero, just locks it in so that it takes out that barbed wire there. Everything is clear here. Out come the Toxic Babe canisters, but there's still a minute 30 left to go, Des.
Yeah, think about how long Pojo sat behind a shield, essentially uncontested, back in that first half, and driving that, I think, straight into a wall so they can run the clock down, and they'll try and get it maybe driving their way forward. In comes the Lion. Scan grenades up there as well. He cannot run away. Great coordination coming out of TSM to clear Muringa off those main stairs, and with 75 seconds still to play, they've got bucket loads of times to make work here, Ace.
Oh, that's fantastic from TSM. It's just absolutely beautiful, just like clockwork. You just see each team member playing their part. The Rotero drones, the nade, just everything in place to take Muringa down, and the pressure will mount now. Liquid need to find themselves some kills here. They don't want to be coming into a late round execution at a man disadvantage, and TSM able to just swarm over them in a way. But for now, Nesk, he puts out the impact nade there, just looking to take off any hard breach utility that could have been on the wall there. So TSM need to be careful. They don't want to stall out. Geo's looking to push forward. Diffuser in hand. He's going to open up. The attempt at the plant, I would imagine, is going to come in behind bar. So what they want to do, they've blown the wall there at the bottom of 90 corridor. They just want to push directly in. PSK is in a very important position now, but he's going to start getting challenged. It doesn't matter though. He's got Nesk and Sexy Kate backing him up. 3 versus 3 as Geo finds a trade, and there comes Achieved. A big play from him once again, but look at the clock. 10 seconds left to go. 2 versus 2, and there's still that man Nesk who's making a big problem of himself. And now it's all about that moment, and who should it be with the double but Nesk stepping back into sight and finding the final kills.
I mean, have you been to a major until you've been domed off a map by Nesk, was the question that you asked, and I think TSM have just had their experience of that. Not that they haven't before, but just a reminder
they're
of how
well
bad it
versed
was
with
last
it,
time.
to be fair. They're thinking not again right now.
Yes, absolutely not again, because it looked so good for them at the start of that round, I thought too. Really good push coming up main stairs, had some pressure inside a study, but as soon as the hard breach started getting denied, that's when you saw them all kind of funnel in towards the bottom of 90, and it was all too simple for Liquid to just play those nice long angles and pick off members of TSM as they pushed their way through. They kind of faltered a little bit there, got a little bit lost, and it let Liquid find themselves a bit of comfort to walk away with the round. 4-3 to the LATAM side.
As I feared, Des, this is where I think the tide might start turning for Team Liquid. Now that they're on defense, TSM have to be more adaptive. They have to come in here to defensive setups that they can't really plan for until they see them. And whilst they're on defense, you know, they can do the hard yards before they get into the server, and they can say, right, Merc's not available, Pojo, you're going to play there, this is how we're going to play around this strat that we normally do. Whereas now they have to come in with a loose idea, and they have to be able to move around and change and adapt as the round develops. And that could potentially be a bit of a sticking point for them. Liquid able to get themselves a first. They're going to be happy to just hunker down on sites here and take those gunfights in the late round as the clock is ticking away and as the pressure is mounting on TSM. Nesk, a beautiful triple at the end there. That puts him on 8 for the round, and if he starts rolling on defense, this one could be a short half.
I mean, the prior round, you had Paluh walking away with the 3K, so 2 big rounds from the 2 gunners that everyone loves to celebrate on the side of Liquid. I want to see more of that from them as the tournament wears on. Right now, it's 2 big rounds that have gotten 3 back-to-back. Let's see what Paluh can do hanging off to the south here. I think there's a little bit of pressure coming in. In fact, it's Paluh and Ness being the ones on the south side roam. Just looking to pressure the members of TSM, but they're the one being pressured out. Ness still wins the gunfight against Achieved, but it was that early trade. Finds a second. Is this where he starts to really pop off? Because here, he's now 1 kill sat behind him. What a shot coming out of Nesk. A triple kill, completely shut down the side of TSM. They're left scrambling, rattled for ideas. They finally shut him down, but not before Ness has completely killed any momentum behind this attack.
It's the very decent young man, Chala, who manages to move in and ultimately take down Nesk, but not before he's proved an absolute nightmare for TSM, taking 3 off the board, and TSM could be forgiven right now for thinking, not again, Des. Not again do we have to face up to Nesk as he starts hitting his stride. 3 versus 2, plenty of time left. That is the big bonus for TSM here. They need to use those drones. They need to find out what's going on site. How have Liquid adjusted now that they're down to 3 men? Where are they playing? Where can we take these fights? In goes a Rotero drone from Beaulo. Will it be challenged? No, it manages to anchor down and will clear out the shield of Sexy Cake. So that forces him out of position. Good first step for TSM. Out goes another Rotero, looking to clear more utility. They just want to open up the path and allow themselves to take the gunfights on at least a fair field of play here.
It's that Flores again. We always speak about it and the damage it does without any real risk for yourself. I think here there's so much more they need to be looking for as well. Find themselves in a spot where, well, they've cleared out what they need to. They've got the numbers advantage. They've held on for so long. Liquid this is. But for TSM, yes, there's a little bit of work. They've had Beaulo dropping down a couple of those Roteros. It's not going to be enough. He's down to about 20 HP. These long angles can be challenged at pretty much any given time. With 30 seconds to go, that is a nice shot. That's one, but can he find himself yet another? Expects a man to his right. Knows that one must be playing here up towards Astro. Waiting for one to come around and peek on this corner. There we go, but Muringa, he looked away at exactly the wrong time. Was getting out of his laydown spot. A closeout for Muringa and PSK. Liquid take the 4th round in a row and start propelling themselves towards this victory that we thought they might find, Ace.
Well, you've just seen a great example of the problem there. We know how capable Beaulo is. He can turn around a situation like that. He can win a 2v2, absolutely not a problem. But time is ticking away for TSM now. They don't have that comfort to be able to sit back and allow things to happen for them. They have to get aggressive, and when you get aggressive against Team Liquid, you expose yourself, and that's when they're going to start hitting the shots, and that's exactly what happens. So for every round that Liquid can get themselves an man advantage at about the halfway mark, it slides massively in their favour, unfortunately, for TSM. If that's 4 versus 2, coming into that second half, it's not going to be easy from there on in.
Absolutely not. Alrighty, let's see how this next one plays out. They're going to be defense of the downstairs offsite. Those 2 going back to back for the side of Liquid. Now, Jackal Beaulo is saying, look, enough is enough. We need to deal with these Romans. So now you're looking at the Lion, you're looking at the Iana, you're looking at the Jackal. 3 tools they're bringing along to try and control players like Nesk and players like Paluh, who have given them a massive headache so far. Look at them both, by the way. 11 kills. Over 8 rounds, they've got 22 kills. Almost 3 between them in a round. That on average per round. It's unbelievable what they're doing. But we knew it was going to happen coming into this, right?
It's the expectation. It is absolutely the expectation for this team. I mean, we've got to shout out Achieved and Beaulo on the other side. side as well. 17 kills. They're not a million miles behind. Could just do with them stepping it up here in this round number 9, to just try and push around over the line for TSM. Get one back on the board, get themselves back within touching distance, and then you start to feel that it's possible. Now, I've got Nesk underneath. All I can see is the pulse icon above his head. He's got the nitro in hand. He could make a real nuisance of himself here.
It's interesting because it's almost like putting a limiter on him in a way and just saying, look, sit on site for a bit, play with the pulse. We know you've just gone nuclear, but chill out, man. Breathe a little bit. It just pops off and won us around, essentially. Give it a second, man. It's okay. Just breathe. Let others play the game of Siege every now and when they want to. But looking at how it's sort of set up, you can see they had the Jackal out towards the west. Beaulo here playing on the Wolf window. Just looking to find this one man that I'm sure they will not be able to find in this case as well. Can't see any of the footsteps. Doesn't know that he's here. Paluh could get a massive swing off as he does finally get pinged out. And now they know there's a man playing around 90. Oh, the longer angle is there. Pinged out yet again as he backs away. Pojo being the one to find one. Chala into a second. TSM finally getting something done.
This is it for TSM now. This is the momentum that they needed. Let's drive forward and get this round and keep it competitive. 5 versus 3 now. As you say, big opening kill from Pojo, double down on by Chala, and it forces Liquid largely back to site. PSK is inside of there, but Nesk is not. He's holding himself on the pulse off site, and if TSM don't just get a handle on exactly where he is and keep him locked down, he could be a real problem maker come the late round. For the time being, PSK is trying to keep them off opening this wall. He's got his electrical in hand. He's just trying to make life difficult. Nades are raining in, utilities being cleared. PSK is feeling real pressure inside, but as you say, he manages to stop them opening one wall. That's a great start for Team Liquid. 50 seconds left to go.
It's the electric claw that he used as well, because he's kind of dug it into the, like, cabinet thing in a way. So rather than being exposed to above, it's not so easy to remove. Look, you can see it there, tuck in. So it's just about hidden from the vertical angle. Really smart. They might be able to get it if they open up more of the flooring. In fact, I think he just got it there on the sledge. Yep, now it's gone. I was going to say from the angle they had, they couldn't see it. So it was smart. It's taken another 20 or 30 seconds off TSM, and now they've got to go pushing in pretty much raw to try and challenge onto PSK, who finds the one that he needs. Geo dropped down. In comes the final line scan. In fact, they've got one more left after this as well if they want it. This is where they should be able to make something happen, TSM. But Nesk is still alive.
Oh, if you remembered, as I said at the beginning of the game, the real freedom that Liquid have on the defense is the strength of the core that is back on site. There we go. Nesk trying to pop up from the basement. Shut down by Chala, but still 2 versus 2 now. However, Achieved with a massive kill onto PSK. That's going to allow Chala to lock in this diffuser. It's all up to Paluh. It's a trade, but it doesn't matter, as that's TSM closing down the round. But Liquid so close to fighting back from 3 versus 5. And this is why you can never count them out of a round, because they've got a player in PSK who's been quiet so far this game, but it's because his moment has not arrived. His moment to lock down site, which he will capably do, and attempts to do so there. But let's not take away the efforts of Chala in that round. He got a great kill at the beginning, a great kill to finish things off. Get the diffuser down. Beautiful play from him.
And Chi stepping up as well. The one normally just, playing the soft destruction on the sledge, and normally leaving others like Beaulo and Merc to be the ones that really go massive for the team. But he's stepping up in Merc's absence, which is wonderful to see, and keeping TSM very much in the game. Yes, they're still behind for now, and yes, one more round for Liquid would at least get them to the point of guaranteeing overtime. Now they go down to Aviator Games, one of the strongest sites on the map to defend. That's where I feel a little bit nervous. Let's not forget in the prior round, it was about the hard breach denial plus the longer angle shots being taken by Nesk that got them the round win. But TSM did start strong. So keep a close eye on main stairs, see how effectively they clear it, because that's where they really shone the last time around they attacked this site.
Certainly is. There was no holding on to it. The Rotero drone particularly. The setup is very similar. Deployable shield. It's Vulcan. We've got 2 ADSs there. Last time that was undone completely by 1 Rotero drone. So if Muringa's going to play out there, he has to be laser focused on those drones coming in, Des. He's got to hit his shot on it. It's as simple as that. He can't allow it to go in and clear that utility out as easily as it did last time.
Absolutely. Well, at least this time around, no Jackal. That's been dropped away. Beaulo going back onto playing the Rotero wielding Flores, one we've seen quite a bit in this map so far. And the Lion are going to stay present as before, alongside the single hard breacher in the Habana. Clearing out that main stairs should be the big focus. I think, again, you can see there's a shield here. There's 2 ADSs. There's the barbed wire stats up there. All stuff we're used to seeing. As of right now, no one playing on it. Imagine they're hanging around at the top of the main stairs. If Beaulo can just get in and clear this out for free, that's a big problem. I don't know if he gets it all here. I mean, that was further range than I expected. It did get one of the ADSs, to be fair. Did he get the shield at the top as well? Surely not. Surely they cleared that out
sure.
with...
He certainly didn't get the barbed wire at the bottom, so there's still going to be a need for another Rotero drone to go in. But now with the distance between the barbed wire and the ADS left, you've maybe got two needing to go in. But with nobody really actively playing there, I don't think they need to worry about it too much. The fight instead is largely going to come over Study and into sight. Now, Nesk and PSK are looking to just hold down those angles and prevent any push onto the single map store from Study. The EU1D scan will go out and just freeze everybody in place for a second or two. And back to action now. Pojo takes a lot of damage there as he finds himself down to about 44 HP, but Achieved it is with the opening kill, and he's been going fantastically well on the entry so far, using a nade this time to find Muringa.
Excellent start indeed. Yeah, the small advantage they want here. This is where they got kind of hung up last time, mind you, is when Nest started clearing this off with the impact, sort of spraying it off as he'll do now. No real concern for them, of course, looking for something there on the side of the attackers to get that lower case opened up. They have an angle then inside of where Sexy Cake is playing inside a game room. Simply not going to be a case because Nesk is just happy to sit here and play Guardian for that wall. Stop it being opened up.
He's going to get aggressive if he gets the opportunity. Mark my words. If he thinks he can step out here and find himself a kill or two, that's exactly what he'll do. And look at the headshot onto Beaulo. You just cannot compete against a player who is going to hit shots like that. Out goes the impact nade to just clear off any X-Kairos pellets that could be on that wall. And he's looking to get aggressive onto that door again. So much confidence from Nesk playing this position. He will be hit with some explosive damage, but still finds himself alive and able to continue fighting. Out comes another nade. Will not move him. 25 seconds left to go.
The man's endured 2 frag grenades at this point as well. All the pressure and attention. The lion scans, and they still can't unseat him at this point. Ace Pojo right up against the wall, looking to have something inside the vault, but no one is moving. 2 members of TSM hit the deck. Next goes massive. Finally shut down from the north side, but it's a 1 versus 3 Achieved. The only one still on his feet here, and I think for the side of Liquid, this should be an easy shutout. They'll move up to match point as Paluh collects another. Nesk, again, the terror of Aviator.
They just absolutely could not unseat him from around that maps table. There was just absolutely no way to move him. Nades came in, challenges came in, and he just dealt with them one at a time, one after another. And what a beautiful performance it was again from Nesk to hold down Aviator Games. That puts Liquid on match point 6-4, and they've got the opportunity to close it out. Now, it looks like we're going to have a timeout. I'm going to guess this is from TSM. Just looking for that opportunity to have a little chat, slow things down, and just try to get anything going here, because this is the last chance saloon now.
Understandably, TSM called God, but they've had a really good start. We didn't have such a great start, or we haven't played yet, for example. We've got to come up against a team that are warmed up, ready, motivated. There's a lot to consider. For Liquid, not a lot to consider about their next site choices. They won Dining and Kitchen earlier. Now having just won Aviator Games, the only real viable site for them, viable in their books. Living and Library, I assure you, can be played, as you've seen a few times in EUL. This now is looking up instead towards Trophy and Statuary. Now, in terms of changes for operators, nothing massive coming out of the side of TSM. I thought we might see a bit of a change in style here. Maybe bring something else along that opens up the round for them a bit more. No, still very much the same as we've seen in prior rounds.
It is. It is very much the same. We'll see if they can get a different outcome or not. PSK is going to be downstairs, just looking to a bit of reinforcements and a bit of utility down there in Dining and Kitchen. Obviously not wanting vertical angles used against them. It's not something they're likely to find. I think also it's about keeping Muringa safe down there on the mute if he chooses to play down there. He's got a nitro in hand, so it is an opportunity for some vertical play in the other direction as well. And it just gives TSM one of the, again, you know, speaking towards people who've maybe not watched too much competitive Siege, and you're looking at a situation thinking, you know, why defend so far off site? Why move away like that and use utility that could be directly on the site? And a big part of it is about time. Obviously, if you've got a player with a nitro, for example, underneath, you can have an impact on the site. So he has to be dealt with. TSM have absolutely no option here other than to come in and to deal with Muringa. And by having that utility, those reinforcements, it just takes longer to do it. It gives Muringa every opportunity to maybe take a kill with him, to waste an extra 30 seconds to a minute. And that's why they do it.
Let's see how this round plays out then. Round number 11 for those of you no doubt just joining us across from stream. Hey, first off, welcome to existing LATAM domination. Lots of expectations on Liquid in the tournament so far are finding their way past the side of TSM, and 2 massive kills to start the round. That is not the way that TSM would have envisioned this. They were getting themselves positioned below to make use of those nades and have been completely clapped by the side of Liquid on that roam.
As I said, they had to go in and deal with Muringa on the mute. They had absolutely no choice, but by playing into it with the utility and the reinforcements that have been positioned there for him as well, it funnels attackers. It forces them to approach it in a certain way, and in doing so, Muringa manages to find himself a kill, and we see Liquid doubling down as well. And that now leaves it all up to Chala, Geo, and Beaulo. They have now got 1 minute 20 to rescue this opening game for TSM, and it's not going their way, Des. It's going the way of Paluh and Nesk once again. For Liquid, they shut down the opener, they put 3 points on the board, and they send a message to the Mexican major.
A big one at that as well. TSM not without contest, and a good few of those rounds look strong, especially in that 3-round burst. Rounds 2 to 4, they did look good, but Liquid unfortunately just looked better. Nesk and Paluh, look at them, by the way, 30 kills between them. How are you ever going to stop something like that?